Alpine's F1 season was saved by a shocking double podium at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, which absolutely no one saw coming. That one result earned them over half their points this season, catapulting them from 9th to 6th in the constructors' standings. However, the team have made the decision the man who finished second in that race, Esteban Ocon, should be gone from the team for the final race of the season. On top of that, Red Bull seem to have finally made a decision over what to do with Sergio Perez. Today, I'll check out what has happened at Alpine to see Ocon let go with just one race left in the season, and why everyone is now saying that Perez is guaranteed to be gone at the end of the year. So, don't go anywhere. There was plenty to talk about coming out of the Qatar Grand Prix, whether it was Lewis Hamilton saying he isn't fast anymore, or the growing feud between George Russell and Max Verstappen, or the FIA president's incredible comments regarding its organization. There was a lot to discuss. However, after the 23rd round of the season, the incredible news broke that Alpine were going to let go of Esteban Ocon for the remaining race of the season. For the final race of 2024, Ocon will be replaced by Jack Doohan, the rookie driver that Alpine already had signed for 2025. Doohan will partner Pierre Gasly at Alpine next year in the team's final season with Renault engines before becoming a Mercedes customer in 2026. Jack Doohan, the son of five-time MotoGP champion and motorbike legend Mick Doohan, was a Red Bull Junior driver until 2022 when he made the switch to Alpine. Back then, Doohan described his switch as being a no-brainer, stating that the F1 testing program and the team's project within the World Endurance Championship gave him a myriad of opportunities for the future. It was a move that clearly has worked out, as he has now secured a full-time F1 seat. Ocon was of course contracted with Alpine for the entire season, but in a deal with Haas, whom Ocon is driving for next year, they've released him a race early. The deal will allow Ocon to drive for his new team Haas in the postseason test at Abu Dhabi on the 10th of December. It also gives Doohan a chance to gain experience of a Grand Prix weekend before next season's first race, which is his home Grand Prix in Melbourne on the 14th to the 16th of March. It is really a win-win for both teams. The only potential downside is if Haas scores big in Abu Dhabi and Doohan has a rough first race, allowing Haas to take 6th position off Alpine in the constructors' standings. However, the fact that Alpine are letting Ocon go and replacing him with Doohan next season anyway shows they have more faith in Doohan's abilities than Ocon's. Relations between Ocon and Alpine have declined this season, and the team made a decision not to continue with the Frenchman after he collided with Gasly on the first lap of the Monaco Grand Prix. Since then, Ocon has been mostly outclassed by Pierre Gasly, but has been finding excuses for the deficit in performance. In Las Vegas, he told Lawrence Barretto he reckoned a problem with his car was costing him at least half a second per lap. The team said they had been investigating it but couldn't find any reason for the deficit. It is a similar story to that which Lewis Hamilton has been telling this season. With Alpine in such a tight battle in the Constructors' Championship, there really is no reason for them to hamstring one of their own drivers. Places in the Constructors' Championship are worth big money to the teams, and there are likely bonuses from sponsors to be paid for good performances as well. Alpine's statement was very short, showing just how bad relationships may have become in the team. They said, "Thank you, Esteban. We've shared some special memories together and wish you all the best for your next chapter." The move also means that the entire Alpine lineup from mid-2022 has now left the team, with Alonso and Piastri already gone. However, Ocon's exit from Alpine for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix isn't the only driver news coming out of Qatar. While talk about Sergio Perez's position at Red Bull has been pretty much constant during what has been the most underwhelming season of his career, considering the form of his teammate, it seems a decision has finally been made. Before I talk about that though, if you enjoy the content we make and want to catch some more daily F1 news, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe to F1 Reverse. It really is appreciated. Thanks a lot. So obviously this story has been discussed to death by now. Sergio Perez's poor performances for Red Bull have been a serious problem this season and has cost the team a chance at the Constructors' Championship title, seeing them relegated to third at the moment, where they're likely to stay. If Verstappen wins and claims the fastest lap in Abu Dhabi and Perez fails to score, then Verstappen will finish the season 1 point short of tripling his teammate's return. Over the last 4 Grand Prix, Zhou Guanyu has scored 4 times as many points as Sergio Perez. Perez has also failed to finish in the top 5 since round 6 of the season. Rumours about his replacement have continued on and on throughout the year, but the story has been told so many times this season, it's become hard to believe. However, following the Qatar Grand Prix, it seems Red Bull have finally made the decision to sack him at the end of the season. ESPN and the race are reporting that Red Bull have finally pulled the trigger. According to ESPN, discussions over the next steps will take place with the driver, Horner, and Red Bull racing advisor Helmut Marko on December the 9th, the day after the Formula One season finale in Abu Dhabi. The 2025 contract extension Perez signed earlier this year means he cannot be sacked outright, but he can be moved into a wider ambassadorial role within the company. Daniel Ricciardo had a similar option when he was dropped from the junior team VCARB in September, but decided to cut ties with the company instead. Perez has been under pressure for most of the season, despite making a very strong start to the year. 4 podiums in his first 5 races netted him that contract extension, but while he has a drive at the team next year on paper, Horner conceded to Sky Sports F1 that his lack of results of late have cost the team. First of all, we've won 9 Grand Prix this year, to 5 of any other team, Horner said when asked about the Mexican driver. Now, all of those 9 have come from Max, whereas every other team has split between 2 drivers. And I think to be third, we've still got half a chance of second, but it's massively a long shot. We are out of the constructors, and that's very frustrating because that's obviously where the financial revenues are distributed from. Horner was pressed on whether the ultimate decision about Red Bull's driver lineup would be the team's or whether they would leave it to the Mexican to decide if he wants to continue, with any break clauses in his contract an unknown. He wouldn't be drawn into outright confirming what would happen after Abu Dhabi, instead saying, "I think he's old enough and wise enough to come to his own conclusions, but there is still a race to go, so let's get to the end of Abu Dhabi and see where we are at," Horner concluded. With it now being assumed for the first time that Perez will not be a Red Bull driver in 2025, attention will turn to who will replace him as Max's teammate, as the Dutch driver looks to make it a clean sweep of drivers' championships under the current technical regulations. VCARB's Liam Lawson, who replaced Ricciardo at the US Grand Prix, appears to be the favourite to step up from the junior team in Perez's place, although the team's driver situation has been difficult to read all year. Although Williams rookie Franco Colapinto looked like a strong candidate to join the Red Bull stable of drivers a few weeks ago, sources say his performances over the past 3 races and his expensive crashes in Brazil and Las Vegas meant Red Bull opted against pursuing that option further. When asked about Colapinto after Sunday's Qatar Grand Prix, Horner said, "He, for sure, is a talent that's looking to earn his permanent place in Formula One. We have a great pool of talent within the Red Bull Junior team, and I'm sure Franco will find his way onto the grid in the future." If Lawson were to step up to Red Bull next year, then it's believed that Isaac Hajar would step in at VCARB to partner Yuki Tsunoda. Hajar is doing first practice for Red Bull in Abu Dhabi as well as the test that follows the race next week. With a sprint and a feature race left in the F2 season, Hajar sits half a point behind the current F2 leader, Gabriel Bortoleto, who will be driving for Sauber next year. If Hajar were to be promoted to F1 next season, it would mean that next year we'll have a full Red Bull junior team lineup for Red Bull and VCARB, with all 4 drivers coming through that academy. It also means there'll be a total of 5 rookies on the grid, which is very exciting for the future of the sport. What do you think of Alpine's decision to swap out Ocon for the last race of the season? And are you convinced that Perez won't race at Red Bull in 2025? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you want to support the channel, make sure to check out our merch store at f1reverse.com. Until next time, drive safe and bye for now.